I stepped out of the car and looked at the tall brick buildings around me. This is it, I whispered to myself. College. Move-in day. The happiest day of my life. I grabbed my suitcase from the trunk and looked at the campus. Students were everywhere. Parents were hugging their kids. People were laughing, carrying boxes, rolling suitcases across the sidewalks. A girl walked past me holding a stack of textbooks. "Welcome to the chaos," she joked. I smiled. "First day." "Yep. You too." "Yeah. Good luck," she said, walking away. I took a deep breath. "For years," I murmured. "You worked for this." I had worked after school at a grocery store. I studied every night. I skipped parties. I believed one thing my entire life. My college fund was waiting for me. My grandmother had left it for my education. At least that's what my mom and stepdad always said. I rolled my suitcase toward the housing office. Inside, the room buzzed with noise. Parents talking. Students asking questions. Staff members handing out papers. I stepped up to the desk. A woman with glasses smiled at me. "Name: Ethan Carter." She typed on her computer. "Okay, Ethan. You're here for dorm move-in and housing payment confirmation, right?" "Yes." "Great. Just give me a second." I waited, feeling excited. This was the moment. She frowned. Then she typed again. Then she frowned harder. "Is something wrong?" I asked. She hesitated. Ethan, I'm showing your housing payment hasn't been processed." I blinked. "What do you mean?" "Your account balance is currently 0. I laughed nervously. "That's impossible." She looked uncomfortable. "Do you have another payment method?" "No, the college fund should cover it." She turned the screen slightly. "I'm sorry. There's no active education fund attached to your student account." My stomach twisted. "That can't be right," I said quietly. She gave me a sympathetic look. "You might want to call your parents." I stepped away from the desk. My hands were shaking as I pulled out my phone. I called my mom. She answered after 3 rings. "Ethan, did you get there safely?" "Mom, something's wrong." "What do you mean?" "The housing office says there's no money in my account." Silence. A long silence. "Mom." Hold on," she said. I heard muffled voices. Then another voice came on the phone. "Mark. My stepfather." "Ethan," he said calmly. "What happened to my college fund?" He sighed. "Listen, son. Don't call me that," I snapped. "Where's the money?" "Well, the situation changed." "What situation?" "Ryan needed help." My chest tightened. "What are you talking about?" "The money was used already." My voice cracked. "Used for what?" "For Ryan's tuition." Everything around me felt distant. Students laughed nearby. Parents carried boxes. Life kept moving. But I felt frozen. "You gave my college fund to Ryan?" "It was a family decision," Mark said. "A family decision?" I repeated. He was struggling. He barely graduated. I shouted. "Lower your voice." "I worked for years." Mark's voice stayed calm. "Ryan needed the support more." I couldn't breathe. "That money was Grandma's," I said quietly. "And she wanted the best for the family. That money was for me." "Life isn't always fair, Ethan." I clenched my fist. "Put Mom back on the phone." There was a pause. Then my mom spoke softly. "Ethan." "Mom, is this true?" She didn't answer right away. Finally she said, "Yes." 3 letters. That was all. My chest felt hollow. "You promised me," I whispered. "I know. You told me the fund was safe. I thought it would be enough for both of you. But it wasn't." "No," she admitted. "Why didn't you tell me?" "We didn't want you to worry." I laughed bitterly. "I'm standing outside my dorm with no place to live." "I'm sorry." "Sorry." I repeated. Ryan was having a hard time. And I wasn't. "You're strong, Ethan," she said gently. "You'll figure something out." Those words hurt more than anything Mark said. "You're strong." Which meant Ryan needed help. I didn't. I looked around campus. Students pushing carts. Parents taking photos. Everyone looked happy. Everyone except me. "Did Ryan even ask for the money?" I asked. Mark's voice returned. "He didn't need to ask." "So you just gave it to him?" "He's family." I laughed again. "So am I. Don't make this dramatic." "Dramatic?" I said. "You stole my future." "No one stole anything. You took the only chance I had. Watch your tone." "No," I said quietly. "You watch yours." I heard Ryan's voice in the background. "Is that Ethan?" Mark must have put the phone on speaker. Ryan laughed. "So college didn't work out?" My vision blurred with anger. "You knew?" I asked. Of course. And you were okay with it? Relax, Ryan said. You'll survive. You took my college fund. He chuckled. Guess I needed it more. Something inside me cracked. I hung up the phone. Just like that. I stood in front of the dorm building. 2 suitcases. 1 backpack. And no future. A group of parents walked past me. A father hugged his son. Proud of you, kid. I looked away. My phone buzzed. A text from my mom. We'll talk when you come home. Home. The word felt strange. I stared at the dorm building again. I had imagined this moment for years. My first day of college. My new beginning. Instead, I was standing outside like a stranger. I picked up my suitcase. For the first time in my life, I realized something painful. My own family chose him over me. And standing there on move-in day, I understood something else. Nothing in my life would ever be the same again.
I sat on a cold metal bench outside the dorm building. Students walked past me with boxes and backpacks. Parents laughed. Doors slammed. Someone played music from an open window. I stared at my suitcase. This was supposed to be my first day of college. Instead, I was sitting outside like I didn't belong here. I rubbed my face and whispered, "How did this happen?" Memories started pushing into my mind. Not happy memories. Old ones. The kind I usually tried to ignore. I remembered being 10 years old when my dad died. The hospital room smelled like cleaning chemicals. My mom held my hand and cried. "I promise I'll always take care of you," she told me. I believed her. A year later, she married Mark. At first, he seemed nice. "Hey, champ," he said the first day we met. "You like baseball?" "Yeah," I said. "Good. Ryan does too. You boys will get along." Ryan stood behind him, staring at me like I was a stranger who walked into his house.
"Hi," I said.
He shrugged. Whatever. That was our first conversation. Years passed. Mark always acted polite to me, but things were never equal. One Christmas morning, Ryan opened a brand new gaming console. "Whoa," he shouted. I smiled and clapped for him. Then I opened my gift. A pair of socks. Mark laughed. Practical gifts build character. Ryan smirked. Guess you needed character. I shook my head, trying to stop the memories. "Stop," I muttered. But they kept coming. When I was 16, I got a job at the grocery store. My mom asked, "Why are you working so much?" "For college," I said. She smiled.
"You don't need to worry about that.
"Your grandmother left a fund for you." I remember asking, "Really?"
Of course," she said.
"Your future is secure." I believed her. Every late shift, every long night studying, every sacrifice. I believed that money was waiting for me. And now, it was gone. I grabbed my phone again. My hands were shaking. I called my mom. She answered quickly. "Ethan?" "Mom, we need to talk." Her voice sounded tired. "I know."
"No."
"I mean really talk." There was silence. Finally she said, "Okay. Did you know the fund was empty before today?" She hesitated. "Yes." The word hit like a punch. "So you knew I'd show up here with nothing?" "I didn't think it would be like this." "What did you think would happen?" "I thought Mark would figure something out." I laughed bitterly. Mark already figured something out. He gave everything to Ryan. "Ethan." "Why?" She sighed. Ryan was struggling. That's not an answer. He was failing classes. He always fails classes. He needed help. And I didn't. "You're different." I stared at the ground. "What does that mean?" "You're smart. So, you'll find another way." My chest tightened. "You believed in Ryan more than me?"
"No."
"That's not what I'm saying." "That's exactly what you're saying." "No, Mom," I interrupted. "Look at what happened today." She didn't respond. I stood in front of the housing office like an idiot. I continued. Everyone watching while they told me my account had $0. "I'm sorry. I had to call you like a child asking for lunch money." I said I'm sorry. Her voice started shaking. "I didn't want this." "Then why didn't you stop it?" "Mark said it was temporary." "Temporary?" I snapped. "He said Ryan would pay it back." I laughed. "You actually believed that?" "He promised." "Ryan has never paid anyone back for anything." "I know that now."
"Now."
Please don't yell at me. I'm not yelling, I said quietly. I'm just trying to understand. She sniffed softly. I thought you'd still go to college somehow.
How?
You always find a way. Those words again. You'll find a way. You're strong. You're smart. It suddenly made sense. They didn't protect my future, because they expected me to survive without it. Mom, I said slowly. Yes. Did you ever think about how this would feel for me? Silence. A long silence. Finally, she whispered. I tried not to think about it. I closed my eyes. That's honest at least. I love you, Ethan. I know. Please come home tonight. I looked around the campus again. Students laughing. Friends hugging. Parents taking photos. This world was moving forward. Without me.
I can't, I said.
Why not? Because if I come home, I might never leave again. You belong here. No, I replied quietly. I thought I did. She started crying softly. I'm sorry. I ended the call. I sat there for a long time. The sun slowly started setting. Campus lights flickered on.
My suitcase sat beside me.
My entire life packed inside it. I whispered to myself. What do I do now? No answer came. Just silence. And for the first time in my life, a terrifying thought formed in my mind. Maybe my family never believed in me. Maybe they always expected me to fail. The night air grew colder. Students disappeared into their dorms. I was still sitting on that bench, alone, staring at the campus that was supposed to be my future, and realizing I had a decision to make. Go home, or walk away from my family forever.
The bus ride back to my hometown felt longer than the trip to campus. I sat by the window, my suitcase pressed against my legs. A middle-aged man across the aisle looked at me. First day of college? He asked with a smile. I forced a small nod. Something like that. Big day, he said. My daughter moved into her dorm this morning. That's nice. She's nervous, but excited. I looked out the window. Yeah, I whispered. Excited. The man studied my face. You don't look excited. I'm just tired. He nodded slowly. Well, good luck, kid. Thanks. The bus continued down the highway. I watched the campus disappear behind us, my future disappearing with it. For hours later, the bus stopped in my hometown. I stepped off with my suitcase. The air smelled like dust and old pavement. Home. Except it didn't feel like home anymore. I walked the familiar streets until I reached the house. The porch light was on. Voices came from the living room. Laughter. Ryan's laughter. I pushed the door open. Ryan sat on the couch with a huge laptop on the coffee table. Mark stood behind him, drinking a beer. Ryan looked up. Oh, look, he said. The college boy is back. Mark turned. That was quick. My chest tightened. What's that? I asked, pointing at the laptop. Ryan grinned. Pretty nice, right? Where did you get it? Mark answered casually. I bought it for him. With what money? Ryan smirked. Relax, Ethan. No, I said. Answer the question. Mark took a sip of his drink. You're being dramatic again. Did you use my college fund? Ryan laughed. Technically, it was family money. I stepped closer. That money was for my education. Ryan leaned back. And now it's helping mine. You're not even going to class. Online courses, he said, tapping the laptop. I felt my hands shaking. You spent thousands on a gaming laptop. It's not just for games, Ryan said. It's for studying. Mark chuckled. Let's not turn this into a scene. A scene. I snapped. You stole my future. Mark's smile disappeared. Watch your mouth. No. You watch yours. Ryan rolled his eyes. God, you're still whining about that? I stared at him. You knew that money was mine. So you took it anyway. He shrugged. You're stronger than me. You'll survive. Those words again. I slammed my hand on the table. You don't get to say that. Ryan stood up. Relax. Don't tell me to relax. Mark stepped between us. That's enough. No, I said. It's not enough. My mom appeared in the hallway. What's going on? Ryan laughed. Ethan's mad about the college fund again. She froze. Ethan. I looked at her. Tell them. Tell them what? That it was meant for me. She lowered her eyes. I know. Then say it. She didn't move. Mom, I whispered. Mark sighed loudly. The decision was already made. You didn't even ask me. It wasn't your decision to make. It was my future. Ryan grabbed the laptop and smirked. Honestly, I'm glad I got the money. I stared at him. What did you just say? You heard me. You're proud of this? Why wouldn't I be? I felt my chest burning. Because you stole from your own family. Ryan laughed again. You're acting like a victim. I am a victim. Mark stepped closer. Lower your voice. Why? I shouted. So the neighbors don't hear how you screwed me over? That's enough, Mark said firmly. No, it's not. I looked at my mom. Say something. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry. That's all. I don't know what else to say. Say you made a mistake. Silence. Mark crossed his arms. The money is gone. My heart sank. Gone. Yes. You're not going to fix this? There's nothing to fix. I looked around the room. Ryan's laptop. Mark's beer. My mom standing quietly in the corner. This house suddenly felt like a stranger's place. Fine, I said quietly. Ryan smirked. Finally giving up? I shook my head. No. I walked down the hallway to my room. I opened the closet and grabbed my old duffel bag. Clothes. Shoes. A few books. Everything I owned. My mom appeared in the doorway. Ethan, what are you doing? Leaving. You can't just leave. I zipped the bag. Watch me. Where will you go? I'll figure it out. She stepped closer. Please don't do this. You didn't stop them. I tried. No, I said softly. You didn't. Tears ran down her face. I love you. I know. I walked past her. Mark looked annoyed. Where are you going? Somewhere better than here. Ryan laughed. Good luck surviving. I stopped at the door. You're right about one thing. What? He asked. I will survive. I stepped outside. The night air felt cold, but it also felt free. For the first time in years, I wasn't trapped in that house. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it, but something made me answer. Hello. A familiar voice spoke. Ethan, it's Mr. Alvarez. Your old teacher. I frowned. Mr. Alvarez? I heard what happened. My heart skipped. How? Your mom called the school earlier asking about scholarships. I stayed silent. Then he said something that changed everything. Come see me tomorrow morning. I think I can help you. I barely slept that night. I stayed at a cheap motel near the bus station, staring at the ceiling while Mr. Alvarez's words echoed in my head. Come see me tomorrow morning. At sunrise, I walked toward the high school. It felt strange being back. The building looked smaller than I remembered. I pushed open the office door. The secretary looked up. Can I help you? I'm here to see Mr. Alvarez. She smiled. He's expecting you. A minute later, his classroom door opened. Ethan. I hadn't seen him in 2 years, but his voice sounded exactly the same. Hi, Mr. Alvarez. He walked over and shook my hand firmly. You look exhausted. I feel exhausted. He studied my face. Come inside. I followed him into the classroom. The smell of dry markers and old textbooks filled the air. He closed the door. Sit down. I dropped into a chair. He leaned against his desk. Your mom called the school yesterday, he said. Yeah, I heard. She sounded worried. I laughed bitterly. Funny timing. What happened, Ethan? I took a deep breath. They gave my college fund to Ryan. His eyebrows shot up. Your stepbrother? Yes. For what? Apparently he needed it more. Mr. Alvarez shook his head slowly. That's unbelievable. They already spent it. On what? Gaming laptops. Random stuff. Probably more. He crossed his arms. You were one of the best students I ever taught. I know. You worked harder than anyone. I know. So why are you sitting here acting like your life is over? I looked at the floor. Because it kind of is. No, he said firmly. It's not. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. No, you don't. I looked up at him. I showed up at my dorm yesterday with my bags, I said quietly. They told me my balance was 0. He stayed silent. Everyone was watching. That must have been humiliating. It was. I rubbed my face. My own family did this to me. He walked to the window and stared outside for a moment. Then he turned back. Good. I blinked. Good. Yes. That's a strange reaction. You know why I said that? No. Because now you're free. I frowned. Free from what? From believing they control your future. I didn't answer. He walked over and sat across from me. Let me ask you something, he said. Okay. Do you still want to go to college? Yes. Then we solve the problem. It's not that simple. Actually, it is. How? Scholarships. I shook my head. Most deadlines passed months ago. Most, he said. Not all. He opened his laptop. I already checked a few things this morning. You did? Of course. He turned the screen toward me. There's an emergency scholarship program for students who lose financial support unexpectedly. I leaned forward. Is that real? Very real. But the semester already started. Some programs allow late enrollment. Hope flickered in my chest. Do you think I qualify? You were top of your class, he said. You absolutely qualify. I sat back slowly. This feels unreal. He smiled. Good things usually do. He printed a few papers. Fill these out. I grabbed the pen. What if it doesn't work? Then we try something else. And if that fails, then we try again. I laughed quietly. You sound very confident. Because I've seen you work, Ethan. You really think I can recover from this? I know you can. I finished signing the forms. He stood up. Come with me. Where? There's a community program downtown. What kind of program? They help students who lose financial aid. Seriously? Yes. 20 minutes later, we walked into a small office building. A young woman sat behind a desk. She looked up and smiled. Good morning. Mr. Alvarez waved. Lena, this is the student I told you about. She stood and offered her hand. Hi, I'm Lena. Ethan. Her handshake felt warm. Mr. Alvarez spoke first. Ethan just lost his entire college fund. Her expression changed instantly. That's awful. Family situation, I said quietly. She nodded. Sit down and tell me what happened. I hesitated. Then I told her everything. Ryan, Mark, the empty account, the dorm office, the bus ride home. When I finished, she looked genuinely angry. That's not fair, she said. It's life. No, she replied. It's betrayal. Mr. Alvarez nodded. Exactly. Lena turned to her computer. We have night class partnerships with the local college. My heart skipped. Really? Yes. You can work during the day and study at night. That would be perfect. She smiled. Then let's make it happen. For the next hour, we filled out applications. Work-study forms. Program registration. When we finished, Lena leaned back. You're officially in the system now. I stared at the paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Alvarez smiled. See, not the end of the world. Lena tilted her head. Can I ask something? Sure. Your grandmother, the one who left the college fund. Yeah. Did you ever read the will? I frowned. No. Are you sure the money was legally theirs to use? My stomach tightened. What do you mean? I mean, she said slowly, sometimes inheritance money is protected. Mr. Alvarez looked at me. Ethan, did anyone ever show you the actual document? I felt a chill run through my chest. No. Lena leaned forward. Then there's a chance something very important was hidden from you. I stared at the stack of papers on Lena's desk. My name was written across several forms. Scholarship forms. Financial aid forms. Forms I never thought I would fill out. Lena tapped the table lightly. Okay, she said. Last page. I signed it. There. She smiled. Good. That finishes the emergency aid application. I leaned back in the chair. That was a lot. Mr. Alvarez chuckled. College paperwork always is. Lena stacked the papers neatly. You did well today. I mostly just signed things. Still counts. I looked at the clock. So what happens now? Mr. Alvarez crossed his arms. Now we wait for approval. How long? Usually a few days. I nodded slowly. I can handle that. Lena turned back to her computer. While we wait, I want to check something. Check what? You mentioned your grandmother left the college money. Yeah. And no one ever showed you the will? No. Mr. Alvarez frowned. That part still bothers me. Lena started typing. What are you looking for? I asked. Public records. You can find a will online? Sometimes. I leaned forward. Seriously. She nodded. If the estate went through probate, parts of it are public. My heart started beating faster. You think we might find it? Maybe. The room went quiet except for the clicking of her keyboard. Mr. Alvarez leaned against the wall. How long has it been since your grandmother passed away? 5 years. And you were close with her? Very. What did she say about your future? I smiled faintly. She always said I would go to college. Lena suddenly stopped typing. Wait. Mr. Alvarez straightened. What is it? I found something. My stomach tightened. What kind of something? She turned the screen toward us. This is the estate summary. I leaned closer. My grandmother's name appeared at the top. That's her, I whispered. Lena scrolled down. There are several listed assets. My eyes moved across the page. Savings, property, investments. Then I saw it. Education Trust Fund beneficiary, Ethan Carter. My chest froze. That's me. Mr. Alvarez leaned in. Read the description. Lena clicked another document. A longer page opened. Legal language filled the screen. I tried to follow the words. Then Lena read it out loud. Education Trust Fund established exclusively for the educational expenses of my grandson, Ethan Carter. My breath caught. Exclusively. She nodded. That's what it says. Mr. Alvarez rubbed his chin. Keep reading. Lena continued. The trustee may not distribute these funds to any other party under any circumstance. I blinked. What? She looked at me. It literally says the money can only be used for you. My hands started shaking. That means... Mr. Alvarez finished the sentence. That means Mark had no legal right to give it to Ryan. Silence filled the room. I stared at the screen. All those years. All those lies. My chest burned. They stole it. Lena nodded slowly. Yes. Mr. Alvarez's voice hardened. This isn't just unfair anymore. What do you mean? This could be illegal. My heart pounded. Illegal? If Mark was the trustee, he said, he had a legal responsibility. And he broke it? Possibly. I felt anger rising in my chest. So he didn't just betray me. No, Mr. Alvarez said quietly. He may have committed fraud. I stood up suddenly. I can't believe this. Lena looked concerned. Hey, breathe. I trusted them. My voice cracked. My own family. Mr. Alvarez placed a hand on my shoulder. Listen to me. I looked at him. You have proof now. What do I do with it? We think carefully. I want to confront him. That would feel good, he admitted. But it might not be smart. Lena nodded. If this turns into a legal issue, you'll need documentation. I looked back at the screen. My grandmother protected that money. Yes, Lena said. And someone ignored her wishes. I clenched my fists. For Ryan. Mr. Alvarez sighed. How is Ryan doing in college anyway? I laughed bitterly. You really want to know? Yes. He already dropped half his classes. Seriously? Yep. Lena frowned. After one semester? Apparently parties are more important. Mr. Alvarez shook his head. That money could have changed your life. It still might. They both looked at me. What do you mean? Lena asked. I pointed at the document. This proves the money was mine. Mr. Alvarez nodded slowly. Yes. Which means the story isn't finished. Lena leaned back in her chair. You're right. I stared at my grandmother's name on the screen. For the first time since move-in day, something inside me felt different. Not hopeless. Determined. Mr. Alvarez spoke quietly. Ethan, if we pursue this, things could get messy. I know. You might have to confront your family. I'm ready. Lena folded her arms. Then the next step is talking to a lawyer. My heart pounded again. A lawyer. A legal fight. Justice. I took a slow breath. For the first time since everything fell apart, I felt something powerful. Hope. And soon, my family was going to learn the truth. My phone rang while I was working a late shift at the cafe. I wiped my hands and checked the screen. Unknown number. I answered anyway. Hello. A calm voice spoke. Is this Ethan Carter? Yes. My name is Daniel Brooks. I'm an attorney reviewing the estate documents of Margaret Carter. My chest tightened. My grandmother? Yes. I stepped outside the cafe. Cold air hit my face. Did Mr. Alvarez contact you? He did, the lawyer replied. And I reviewed the trust documents. And there was a pause. Mr. Carter, the education fund was legally assigned to you. I know. And according to the records, the trustee, Mark Reynolds, distributed those funds elsewhere. I clenched my jaw. To Ryan. Yes. So what happens now? I've already contacted your family requesting an explanation. My heart started racing. You did? Yes. And they were surprised. I almost laughed. Yeah, I bet they were. The lawyer's voice remained calm. I asked them to provide documentation explaining how the funds were used. They can't. Most likely not. What happens if they can't? That could become a legal matter. My chest felt lighter. Not revenge. Justice. Thank you, I said quietly. You're welcome. The call ended. I stood there for a moment. Then I walked back inside the cafe. Lena looked up from a table. You look like you just heard something big. I did. What? The lawyer contacted my family. Her eyes widened. Already? Yeah. Mr. Alvarez, who had been grading papers at the counter, looked over. And he asked them to explain where the money went. Mr. Alvarez nodded slowly. That conversation must have been interesting. You have no idea. Lena leaned forward. Do you think Mark will admit it? No. Mr. Alvarez chuckled. He might not have a choice. Later that night, my phone rang again. This time I knew the number. Mom. I stared at the screen for a moment. Then I answered. Hello. Her voice sounded shaky. Ethan. Yes. Did you contact a lawyer? I didn't. Mr. Alvarez did. Silence. Then she whispered. Mark is furious. That sounds like his problem. Ethan. What? Why didn't you talk to us first? I laughed quietly. You mean before or after you gave my college fund to Ryan? She didn't answer. I continued. The lawyer told you the truth, right? Yes. And another pause. Mark said it was necessary. For who? For Ryan. I closed my eyes. Of course. Mom's voice cracked. He said Ryan was struggling. So his solution was stealing my future? He didn't say it like that. That's what he did. I heard shouting in the background. Mark's voice. Give me the phone. Then he spoke. Ethan. What? You started something you don't understand. My anger rose instantly. No. You did. You're exaggerating. Am I? The money helped your brother. He's not my brother. Mark scoffed. You're being dramatic. No, I said slowly. You broke the law. He went silent for a moment. Then he snapped. You ungrateful kid. Ungrateful. Yes. We raised you. My grandmother paid for my college. He didn't respond. I continued. The will says the money was only for me. You think some document changes anything? Yes. You won't win this. I already did. He hung up. I stared at the phone. My hands were shaking again. But this time it wasn't fear. It was anger. 2 weeks later, Lena burst into the cafe. Ethan. I looked up. What happened? You got it. Got what? The scholarship. My heart stopped. What? She laughed. The university accepted your application with full financial aid. I couldn't speak. Say something. I got in. Yes. Mr. Alvarez raised his coffee cup. I told you. My chest filled with something warm. Relief. Hope. A new beginning. 3 months later, I stood on the same campus that once rejected me. Students walked past with boxes and suitcases. Move-in day. Again. But this time everything was different. Lena walked beside me. You're quiet. I'm remembering. Bad memories? Not anymore. As we passed the administration building, I saw someone sitting on the steps. Ryan. He looked thinner. Tired. When he noticed me, he stood up slowly. Ethan. I stopped. What? He rubbed the back of his neck. So you got in? Yes. With a scholarship? Yeah. He looked down. I dropped out. I wasn't surprised. Why? My tuition wasn't paid. I let the silence sit between us. Ryan finally looked at me. For the first time, there was no smirk. Only regret. I didn't know the money was yours, he said quietly. I studied his face. Now you do. He nodded slowly. Yeah, but the real confrontation, the one with Mark, was still coming.
The auditorium was packed. I tightened my cap and gown, trying not to fidget. The air smelled like perfume, sweat, and polished floors. I scanned the crowd.
Friends. Teachers.
Strangers. Then I froze. My family was there. Mom, standing near the back, eyes glossy. Ryan, slouched in the chair, looking smaller than I remembered. And Mark, stiff, hands folded, jaw tight. I swallowed. I hadn't seen them in years. Mom's eyes met mine. Ethan, she whispered. I shook my head. Don't. Just don't. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she said. I was too weak. I should have defended you. I clenched my fists. You left me alone. You let him. I know, she interrupted. I know. Her voice broke. I wanted to hate her. I wanted to scream. But something in her tone, it wasn't excuses. It was regret. Ryan shifted uncomfortably. You deserved that chance, not me, he muttered, barely audible. I blinked. He looked different. Tired. Humbled. Ashamed. I had imagined him smug, arrogant, always laughing at my failures. Not this quiet, broken version. Mark cleared his throat. "Ethan," he began, voice unusually calm. I turned. "You finally going to say something?" He hesitated, then exhaled sharply. I always thought Ryan needed help more than you did." The words landed hard. Anger flared, then something else. Understanding. I realized something in that moment. All those years of waiting for justice, for the money, for acknowledgement, the real victory wasn't legal or financial.
It was proving I could succeed without them.
Without their approval. I looked at Mom. She nodded slightly, ashamed. I looked at Ryan. He avoided my gaze, ashamed, quiet. And Mark, he looked older, defeated. I straightened my shoulders. The announcer called my name. "Ethan Carter." I stepped forward. Each step felt heavier and lighter at the same time. Heavy with the weight of the past. Light with the freedom of finally moving forward. I approached the stage. The applause was loud. I kept my eyes straight ahead. The dean handed me my diploma. I gripped it tightly. I looked down at the leather cover. Years of struggle. Hard work. Late nights.
Doubt. Pain.
All of it led to this. I raised my head. I caught Mom's eye one last time. No words. Just a small nod. Ryan sat silently. Mark looked uncomfortable, ashamed. I realized then that it didn't matter what they did. They took my college fund. But they couldn't take my future. The applause roared louder. I smiled, finally. Finally free. And nothing, not anger, not betrayal, not lost money, could touch that. I turned toward the audience, holding my diploma. I had won.
Not because of them, but because of me.
And in that moment, everything changed.